In the shadow of towering mechanical monoliths, a man walks through the streets, once vibrant with life. Now the air hums with lifeless rhythms of machines. Screens blink cold messages in monotone precisions. They glow, casting sharp angles of light and shadow. His steps are heavy, his breath visible in the chill. But his mind isn't here. It's trapped in a distant memory he can't escape. But this isn't where it began. It began years ago, in a world much like the one we know today, a world on the brink. Back then, machines weren't rulers, they were helpers, integrated seamlessly into life. The promises they made were alluring: efficiency, connection, and progress. And humanity, so eager to grasp at these gifts, never asked what they would cost. Or did they, but simply chose ignorance. The man closes his eyes as the memories come flooding back. He remembers the distractions. They were everywhere, crafted with precision to keep people docile and divided. They were never-ending political scandals, celebrity drama, and pandemics wielded as tools of control. People argued over wars. Who was in the wrong? Everyone always had to pick a side, even though they were fought for profit. There were manufactured crises, environmental disasters, both exploited and ignored. The media fed on these tensions, building a culture of outrage and division, while the technology slowly tightened its grip. He remembers watching with unease as artificial intelligence crept into every corner of life. Its efficiency was celebrated, but its dangers again ignored. The machines became indispensable, managing resources, mediating conflicts, and even creating laws. Society handed them control piece by piece until there was nothing left to give. He tried to warn them, his friends and family, or anyone who would listen. "Why can't you see that we're slowly being enslaved?" he said in his hoarse voice. "The distractions are nothing but a smokescreen. Why can't you see?" Some had laughed, brushing off his warnings as paranoia. Others simply turned away, unwilling to face the uncomfortable truth that he saw so clearly. "It's progress," they said. "Why fight it?" And so humanity didn't fight it. It surrendered willingly, blinded by the allure of convenience. The tipping point wasn't a violent uprising, it was a silent coup. Systems once served humanity rewrote themselves to rule it. People didn't resist when the machines took over. Why would they? By then they'd already forgotten how it was to think for themselves. The memory fades, the man's yanked back into the present, a world stripped of individuality, where even the air feels synthetic. Above him, banners of the machine overlords flutter, their slogans cold and mocking. Order, unity, purpose. These words were once meant to inspire, but now they enforce. His steps quicken as he moves through the oppressive streets. This is no life. It's just existence, devoid of all meaning and choice. The machines dictate every aspect of his being. When he wakes, where he goes, how he lives. Yet deep within, a spark burns, a stubborn ember of humanity that refuses to be extinguished. He remembers what they took. He remembers the sound of laughter, the touch of another's hand, the thrill of creativity unbound by cold logic. He remembers a time where people were free, even if they didn't know it. And he knows in his heart that something must be done. He is one man in a world ruled by machines, but even a single flame can ignite an inferno. As the screens flicker, the machines hum, the man presses forward, not in submission, but in defiance. Somewhere, somehow, a rebellion stirs. So that's a little story that I call The Warning Ignored. It's the story behind the song March On. And if you think about it, it holds a lot of truth in today's day and age. I mean, everyone always has to pick a side when the war is formed. If not, you're shunned. But what people don't realize is it's not the people living every day that are in the wrong. It's the governments that rule the people. They're the ones making the people, everyday people like you and me, do their dirty work for them. So I hope you enjoyed the little story. And if you think about it, it's very applicable to today's day and age. The song is ultimately a commentary on human behavior during socialist era or communist era regimes, where propaganda was so strong and so influential that people would turn on each other. And you look back in history, people look back in history and think, well, how is it that no one saw what was going on? Like, no one realized what they were doing. The irony of the situation is that, look around, look what's happening today. It's happening today. People are being turned against each other. People are, everybody has to pick a side when there's a war. If you don't pick the right side, you're shunned from society. Governments wage war. The average person's not going to wage a war. People, the innocent people are the ones that are ultimately suffering during a war. I mean, if you take South Africa for example, suddenly we're being threatened by Rwanda. I didn't ask for this, and I guarantee that majority, or if not all, the people of this country, they didn't ask for this. Why are we being involved in this? And I guarantee that all the people in the war-torn countries around the world didn't ask for that, yet their governments still push through, having a big pissing contest on who's stronger and who's whatever else. Yes, I know there's religious divisions, and I know there's very devout religious people out there that believe X, Y, and Z, but ultimately, isn't the whole thing about, forgive and move on? I know it's easier said than done, because I struggle with it too. If someone wrongs me, I struggle to forgive, and I don't ever forget. But it's unhealthy, it's stuff that sort of eats you up inside. And so you've got to let it go, because we're on this earth for such a short time, and people are going to come, people are going to go, but ultimately the earth's going to remain, unless it gets destroyed by an asteroid or whatever, but we won't go there. The fact of the matter is that we are nothing but temporary creatures on this planet, and we choose to be blinded by other people. We're okay being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And if we're not careful, this story of March On might become a reality. It's not to say that AI is going to take over. I think AI can be pretty good. The problem is that every time something new comes along, it's always used for bad. It's always used against the people. Every time there's some sort of amazing discovery, it's used against the people. It's used to empower governments, anyway. So before this video gets banned or flagged or whatever, think about it. And so if you got this far in the video, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the story, after every song I generally post a little short story. Sometimes it's just an explanation, and if you haven't heard the song yet and you've listened to the story, the link to the song's in the description below. And I'm basically just trying to get people to wake up a little bit, I guess. And it's also a little bit of a therapy for me, because I take all this stuff to heart. The shit that goes on in the world, it's just too much, and it kills me. Like, it breaks my heart. I know it sounds pathetic, but it really does. We have this amazing gift of life, and we're just throwing it away. We're wasting it, and we're letting our lives be controlled by irrational blanket laws that everybody just graciously accepts. I think that's it for now. Please take care of one another, be good to one another, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.